Hey mama, welcome to the Mosaic Mom Life podcast, where we help moms just like you discover your purpose and build a life you love. I'm Laura Stuffelbaum-Holt, a wife, mom, and career coach for stay-at-home moms who want to confidently transition back into the working world. See, we all have these random, seemingly scattered pieces of our lives that make up who we are. And especially as stay-at-home moms, it's tempting to see that as nothing more than a pile of junk that hasn't amounted to much of anything. But that's not how God sees it. He sees a beautiful mosaic. Each fractured piece of your life has a specific placement and purpose in His design. Romans 8:28 says that we know that all things work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to His purpose. So, let's take Him at His word and confidently dive into the incredible Mosaic Mom life He is piecing together just for you. Here we go. Hey mama, have you ever seen the episode of Family Matters where Harriet Winslow goes off on the employer during a job interview? He tries telling her that she doesn't have management experience, and she just proceeds to tell him all the experience she has as a manager, a leader, and a mediator because she's a wife and a mom. Oh man, it is so good. If you haven't seen it, head over to YouTube and search Harriet Winslow Mom's Resume, or I'll put the link in the description for this episode. But you have to see it. It's too good to miss. Every time I watch it, and we are proud children of the 80s and 90s over here, and we really like our Family Matters and all things TGIF. So we end up watching Family Matters a lot. And every time that scene comes on, I am pumping my fists in the air and shouting, "Go Harriet!" That scene just so perfectly illustrates that missing ingredient for most of us when it comes to piecing together our Mosaic Mom lives. We're missing that confidence that we have exactly what it takes to do the job, or to do whatever it is we want to do next as part of our Mosaic Mom lives. Now, please don't misunderstand me. I really don't want you going and telling off every hiring manager who doesn't get it. But we need to discover a way to confidently communicate the value we bring to the table because we are moms. And, honestly, this whole lack of confidence thing for moms specifically is completely understandable. I mean, let's think about it. Stay-at-home moms lack confidence when it comes to what's next because our lives have been so focused on raising our kids and taking care of our families that our personal identities often get pushed to the back burner. We just don't think about what we want or what we're good at outside of this very small world where we're taking care of small beings and our homes. We begin to identify first and foremost as mom. And that is not a bad thing. And it's definitely been the case for me where, I wanted to be a mom my entire life. And it took me a good long while to get there. So I proudly and immediately switched my personal identity from Laura to mom. And the only problem with that is that Laura is still in there. She is still very much having dreams and desires of her own in addition to being called mama. And mom life is so crazy and requires so much of us that we simply don't have the time to really think about those dreams and desires that we pushed off way back when. So it makes sense that we don't tend to have a lot of confidence in just who we are as women, who we are as workers, because we've so willingly wrapped our entire identity up in being mom. And like I said, that is not a bad thing. It's just a reality that we have to confront as we move forward into a new phase of our lives. The other reason that stay-at-home moms tend to lack confidence when it comes to moving into the working world after being home for a while is that we've just been out of that working world for so long that we tend to think our experiences and our skills are obsolete. And in some really technical fields, that may be true, but by and large, if you had skills in a previous field, you're going to have skills again. You may have to do some updating, but you are not completely and totally obsolete most of the time. Again, I will give that caveat because there are some really technical fields where you'll have a lot of catching up to do, but it doesn't have to be a complete and major roadblock to your returning to work. And in a little while, we're going to talk about different ways that you can bump up your skills and really be ready to step back into the working world whenever you're ready. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. But any proactive steps that you take to stay up to date in your field is going to show an employer that work is important to you in addition to your family. So being obsolete, having obsolete experiences and skills, not a problem. We can handle that. And we're going to show you how. So hang tight. Another reason that we tend to have just a lack of confidence when it comes to stepping back into the working world is we look at our resumes, if we've managed to put one together, and think, who in the world is going to hire me with this gigantic employment gap? I haven't worked in the last 20 years. And yes, we have taken time away from our careers to be home with our families. That's a good thing. And we've also gained innumerable skills while we've been home with our kids. We just don't tend to see it that way. We see work and we see being home with our kids as two very separate things. Now, if you talk to any other stay-at-home mom and say, do you work? She will say, yes, I do, 24/7. Do we really want to have this conversation? Stay-at-home moms work harder than anybody else. What we have to do when we go back into a working world environment is reframe our experience as stay-at-home moms so that the employer sees it as just another valuable experience where you were gaining skills and doing work. So here's the thing to keep in mind. If you see your time at home as a gap, so will the employer. But if you see your time at home as a valuable experience where you learned incredible things and you brought amazing talents and gifts to the table, so will the employer. It's all about the perspective and the tone that you set. So overcoming this gigantic employment gap on our resumes doesn't have to be a thing. And we can teach you how to do that. The next way that we tend to just really lack confidence, and the reason that we tend to lack confidence is we don't even remember how to write a resume or a cover letter. So that's why I said, if you manage to put a resume together, most moms that come into my circle are looking at me and saying, but I don't even have a clue. I haven't done a resume in 15 years. What in the world am I supposed to put on this thing? And honestly, this is the biggest reason that stay-at-home moms reach out to me. I have a stay-at-home mom resume template that is the #1 most downloaded freebie on my blog and has been for the last 7 years. You can check it out at scatteredwoman.com/mom resume template if you're interested. But having an incredible resume because you use this great template often doesn't really solve the full root issue for the moms that I work with. They're filling out applications, they're writing cover letters, and they're handling themselves in interviews. And all of that is just incredibly daunting for them. Getting the resume written is really just the first step. We realize really quickly that these moms are struggling with the confidence piece. They don't have any idea what to put on the resume or how to present themselves well during the job search because they lack confidence that they have what it takes to do the job, that they have the skills that it takes to do the job, and they aren't able to present themselves well because of that lack of confidence. So really the first thing that we have to do is build up our confidence. Build up our confidence in ourselves and what we have to bring to the table, and do that first. That is the whole goal of this podcast. We are going to really boost our confidence as stay-at-home moms so that we're ready to promote ourselves well when it's time to job hunt. So I promised that I would give you some good tactical how-tos on how to overcome this lack of confidence. And over the next several episodes, we're really going to dive deeper into different ways we can increase our confidence through my Mosaic Mom Life framework. But here's a real quick high-level look at a good place to start. So number one, we dive first into discovering your unique personality, and particularly your personality strengths. I learned about the personalities when I was in 5th grade and have been teaching about how to improve relationships by understanding the personalities for the last 17 plus years. And one of the major benefits of understanding your unique personality blend is that you get really clear on what unique traits you already possess that the people around you and the world desperately need. So when you are putting together a resume, when you're going into a job search, you have a vocabulary on how to present yourself. I have these awesome personality traits. I have this amazing work ethic. I have these great things about me that are just innately who I am and who God designed me to be. Here you go. And it really gives you a sense of confidence by just knowing who you are and who you were created to be. So we always start with personality. Number two, you remember your past experiences and achievements. Man, we are so quick to forget all the awesome things we did before we became moms. I will talk to moms frequently and say, well, what did you do before you had kids? Well, I really didn't do much of anything. Well, did you go to school? Did you work? Were you volunteering? What did your life look like before then? And more often than not, moms will just say, well, I didn't really do anything. I went to work. I did this. It wasn't a big deal. We really forget how awesome we were as workers before we were moms. And then when we become moms, we dismiss all the cool things that we're doing now as moms because we think it's just part of the job. It's nothing really special. It's just what we do. And we really have to shift our thinking and remember that we have done awesome things in the past. We are doing awesome things now. It's all about how we frame that. So remembering all the incredible things you've done will actually have a big way of boosting your overall confidence. And it's the biggest reason that I advocate that moms create a master resume way before they ever need it. It's all about boosting confidence. It reminds us where we've been, what we've done, and what all God has brought us through. So dig in. Remember your past experiences, your past achievements, the things that you've done now. And really reframe that to be, I have done some really awesome things. And again, we're going to talk more about this to really help you figure it out as we go. But this is your starting point. So, number 3, you're going to fill in any gaps in skills or knowledge. I mentioned before that you may be in a field where you need to kind of beef up those skills and figure out, okay, what skills did I have before that are maybe not used in this field anymore? Or what skills do I need to pick up that would help me get back into the field and really be up to date and relevant? And there are tons of ways that you can do that, but here are a few. One, you can read professional journals, websites, blogs. Anything written is all over the internet. So there are tons of places where you can go to really see what's going on in your field right now. 2, you can do things like attending virtual conferences and summits. A lot of times these things are free. You can do them from home in your pajamas after the kids go to bed. This is really one of those things that I just love. I love being able to learn things from home on my time schedule. So virtual conferences and summits are really, really great for getting you up to date and filling any gaps in your skills or in your knowledge in terms of your field, or just going back to work in general. Another way that you can fill in those gaps is to take a community college course or an online course. And these are awesome things to include in your resume because they really show an employer that you are able to handle balancing work and being a full-time mom. While you're doing this stay-at-home mom thing, you're still taking time to learn and to grow and to invest in yourself, which is huge. It really shows that you can balance your time, balance your obligations, and employers love to see that. So again, there are lots of ways that you can fill in gaps in your skills or in your knowledge, but those are just a few to get you started. The fourth step is to really beef up your master resume. And the easiest way that you can really start beefing up your resume quickly is to start creating your own platform to practice and to show off these new skills and knowledge about your field. You can do things like blogging or creating a YouTube channel or creating a podcast. If you are interested in learning more about any of those things, I've got some resources for you real quick. One is blogging. If you are interested in blogging, head over to scatteredwoman.com/blogging. I have several posts that talk about using blogging to really boost your job search. And there's a lot of how to get started kind of steps there as well. If you're interested in podcasting, which has been super fun for me so far, Stephanie Gass is going to be your new best friend when it comes to all things about the art and business of podcasting. So you can check her out on her podcast, which is the Online Business for Christian Women podcast, or you can jump over and check out her course, which I will be diving into in the fall. Yay, super excited about that. But you can check her out at scatteredwoman.com/podcast to profit. All one word. And that will get you diving and get you started on the whole podcasting thing. Another way that you can really beef up your master resume is with volunteering. And I'm sure you, as a mom, you are volunteering all over the place and not even realizing that you're volunteering. But here are a few very official places that you can check. So first, check with your schools, the PTA or the PTO, the band or athletic boosters. They're always looking for volunteers. If you are homeschooling like we are, there are homeschool co-ops that you can join. You can teach classes. You can volunteer just with the co-op in general. You can volunteer to, spearhead events and all sorts of things. Schools are a great place to volunteer. Community organizations are another one. All sorts of places within your community are going to be looking for volunteers on the regular. So you'll just have to look in your community for what those might be. But a great place to look within your community is always going to be your local church. They are constantly organizing events. They need leadership within, their congregations. They need people to teach. There are all sorts of ways that you can volunteer and get some experience to really beef up that master resume. The third way that we're going to really beef up your master resume is by starting to freelance or work from home on your terms. So you can offer freelance services for just about anything, but especially within your field. Just say, this is the thing that I did before I had kids. I could probably do a little bit of that from home in the mom cracks of my day. Melissa Ricker talks about building a business in the mom cracks of your day, and you can do that with any kind of work that you want to do. So you can offer freelancing services. You can work remotely for somebody that you know is already in the field. Just reach out and say, hey, I would really love to kind of dip my toes back into this kind of work. Would you be willing to let me do XYZ project or XYZ task for you a few hours a week and just kind of see if I'm ready to get back into this? Most of the time, they are more than willing to let you freelance because it means they don't have to pay payroll taxes and they don't have to pay benefits. So most people are more than happy to take you on as a freelancer. Another thing you can do is to start your own business from home. And the way that I always recommend that moms start is with a virtual assistance business. It has been so good for me in so many different ways. And I have learned so many things that are now I'm able to use in a bazillion other capacities just because I learned them through this virtual assistance business. So if you're interested in learning the whole virtual assistance thing, be sure to check out scatteredwoman.com/BBO training. That stands for Become Booked Out, as in become a booked out virtual assistant. It's by the Virtual Savvy. It is so good. That training is where I started. It's what helped me get started as a virtual assistant, and I recommend it to everybody who is thinking about starting to work from home. So that is really, really a great place to start. And those are really the 4 things that I always recommend: that you discover your personality, that you remember your past experiences and achievements, you fill in any gaps in your skills or knowledge, and you beef up your master resume. And those are things that you can do at any point during your stay-at-home mom journey. It doesn't have to be just when you're actually ready to dive back into the work-at-home world. We can do all of these things to boost our confidence now. So, if you find yourself feeling less than confident that you have what it takes to go back to the working world after dedicating yourself to your family for a while, just know you are not alone. A lack of confidence is the number one issue I hear when I talk to moms who are in your shoes. While we may experience that insecurity for a good reason, as we discussed, just by the nature of our lives as women and moms and how our world works, it is not an insurmountable problem. And there are so many things we can do to boost your confidence. So I have a really simple framework for helping you do that, helping you boost that confidence and get yourself totally prepped to step back into the workforce. Whether you choose to work from home or work outside the home, you will know that you have exactly what it takes. So if you would like to start walking through that framework with me as your guide, let's chat. I would love, love, love to talk to you. You can get started with a coaching clarity call. You can schedule that at scatteredwoman.com/clarity, and we can get you started with your first best step toward confidence and the Mosaic Mom Life you are going to love. Again, that link is scatteredwoman.com/clarity. Thanks for taking time to hang out with me today. I hope you'll continue to discover new pieces of your Mosaic Mom Life each week. Do you have a question you'd like me to tackle for you in an upcoming episode? If so, be sure to send me a quick voicemail message. I'd love to hear your voice for a change and know exactly how to be praying with and for you this week. Head over to scatteredwoman.com/voicemail to leave that message. Also, if you've got a quick minute between those never-ending snack requests from your kiddos, I'd love for you to leave a quick review on the Mosaic Mom Life page on Apple Podcasts. Those reviews really help other moms find the show, discover their purpose, and start building a life they'll love too. That's all for now. Be sure to check back next week for our next episode, and I'll be talking with you again soon.